These are the crimes that happen behind closed doors and in dark alleyways. Gender-based violence survivors include men, women and children, but there's a general consensus that women and children bear the greatest burden. Reeva Steenkamp shot and killed by her Paralympic boyfriend Oscar Pistorius. Sihle Zikoji stabbed to death for being a lesbian. Karabo Mokoena killed and her body burnt beyond recognition by her ex-boyfriend Sandile Manzwe. These are just a few of the names that have made national headlines. And children are no exception. In 2018, the rape of a 7-year-old girl at a Dross restaurant in Pretoria sent shockwaves across the country. The rape-accused Nicholas Nino allegedly followed the little girl from the children's play area to the bathroom. In South Africa, civil society has often highlighted how institutions that ought to be protecting women are the very places that let them down. The march by the Total Shutdown movement to the union buildings pushed government to hold the country's first ever GBV summit.
I have 5 operations on my stomach. I will stand up, guys. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was not born like this, President.
A woman who was gang raped by 8 men revealed the scars she's forced to live with as a result of the rape. While women shared different but harrowing stories at the summit, news broke that a woman had been burnt alive by her boyfriend for speaking to a former lover. 31-year-old Viwe Dalingozi eventually succumbed to her burn wounds. Mpho Tobane is now facing murder and arson charges. Police say they're making headway in getting the perpetrators off the streets.
Through our different investigative aids and tools, we are recently arresting more of serial rapists. Those are those who are raping repeatedly, that we are able to link them with different kinds of crime and be able to see them, link them as serial rapists, and which brought us to apprehend them and also have those who are having long-term sentences.
Research suggests that the impact of GBV is not only felt physically and emotionally, but economically too.
Men are brought up to see themselves as providers, to be heads of the household, to go out and get jobs and support their families. When you don't have a lot of jobs and you have a lot of men out of work, then they start to feel that they are no longer men, that they are failed men. I think the other thing that it does is if women don't have work, it makes them more economically dependent on their partners. So they stay with men because if you leave, where are you going to take your children? What are you going to do? Or even if you do have you did have work, you maybe were only getting by because you had 2 incomes. Now there's just yours. And I think the other thing that we need to look at is the fact that because of the amount of state capture that's gone on, we have lost a whole lot of, and the way that SARS was managed, we've obviously lost a whole lot of money coming into government budgets. What we've seen and how that translates is into cuts into services to women, like domestic violence shelters, like rape services.
This activist says women can't be expected to solve the problem alone.
Men need to have conversations about how they are keeping each other accountable about what's happening. We see a lot of men saying they are not trash, they are good men. But what are you doing? Is this violence happening under your watch? Are you reporting your friends? Are you calling them out? Are you stopping being their friends? What are you doing?
When stories of gender-based violence are reported, society's response is often outrage and protest. But the hype soon dies down, that is, until the next gruesome murder or rape. Slindalo Masigan, Johannesburg.